Well, you're familiar with our format, so you know we have like the two. So we'll just
You
do
have like
both.
the mini show where you talk about the upcoming show, and
Yep.
then you have the primary, right?
Fun, yeah, stuff. The
hmm
the good the goods, the good
The
stuff,
show,
the good place,
the greatest show. Yeah.
Yeah,
the greatest
it
showman.
is the greatest show.
Matthew
hmm
is the greatest showman. He does say
hmm
that. So.
I do quite a bit.
Anyway, yeah. So welcome back to episode 87 now of the Macbeef-Banquet podcast. My name is Miles. I'm just kidding. It's Henry, and this is my buddy Miles, and
That's
we
me.
have a guest with us today. The one, the only Michael Jackson is in the studio. That was great. That was great. No, we got my brother Matthew is here with us today.
Hello.
He was
Thanks for
actually
having me.
he was the one that picked the movie today, despite how we deceived you last week into thinking it was Miles that picked it. It was my brother. So Matthew, why don't you want to share a little bit about yourself or anything, or talk about yourself before we get into the movie?
Sure. I
Sure.
love talking about myself.
Yeah,
My
it's a
name
good
is Matt.
pastime of ours.
I'm Henry's older brother, as he mentioned. I'm 31, I think. Twitch streamer, grocery worker, Fungi, movie watcher, entertainer, natural entertainer. So here we are, having
Exactly.
a good time. Very excited to be here. I've loved what your loved your guys' podcasts, so I'm excited to see behind the scenes, as it were.
And
So,
finally be on it too.
Yeah.
yeah, right.
So the movie.
Yeah.
Why'd
Yeah.
you pick this movie, Matt?
Um, I looked through, a list of what you guys had done already, and I saw you hadn't, if you had done, you just hadn't done anything really quite like it. You hadn't done I guess the closest comparison is the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
In the sense that it's just kind of dreadful and out there. And I just thought it was interesting of a movie. I've watched it a few times myself. It's one of my like go-to, kind of screwball movies. Because
Right.
generally people haven't seen it, and it does have a lot of heart and it does have a lot of energy, but isn't it's definitely not a AAA production, as you can
No,
tell.
yeah. Yeah. By no means. We had talked about musicals a while back on like one of the after show episodes, I think, because I don't really watch a lot of musicals,
Right.
so it was kind of different, and I
Yeah.
did enjoy because actually once we got past some of the initial like songs, like the story, I was interested in it, so it was kind of
Yeah.
cool to sort of
Right.
follow along.
Right. There's just so much going on, and some of it is done really well. And you could see there's like some cool thoughts, as far as like the whole repossessing organs and government
Right.
control and that sort of thing. But then there's also just the dreadful, nudity and gross out, sort of classic horror elements that people it's one of those things where you either love or you hate.
Yeah.
And it's just like for me, it's not my favorite thing.
Right. Oh yeah. No.
It's like the piles of bodies for the sake of having piles of bodies.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
What'd you think of it, Mouse?
I mean, we kind of gave our opinion to each other. It was a little cringy at parts. I'll say that.
Oh,
It was-
yeah.
Some of
for
the
sure.
music definitely. Yeah.
The first thing that comes to mind is when the brothers are singing for the first time, and it's I don't even know what to say. It was like,
Right.
Yeah.
oh my god.
I felt like they were maybe a lyricist or two away from having some not awful songs, but like some of them were just like so bad. Like I remember thinking like as it's going on, like you can never tell like anything about either of the brothers really.
Yeah.
Their lines are like so clumsily delivered, and there's so much going on the screen that like to track their words and their like violent stabbing or whatever the hell is going on, it's almost untrackable. It's like one of those Born Identity fight scenes where you can barely tell what's going on, and it's just
Yeah.
like it's so many jump cuts and like this.
It's
they're-
bizarre because like
they're not good singers, you know.
yeah,
There are some like it's funny because like the voice talent in that movie, like the one Blind Mag or whatever is like is such a good singer, right? You could tell.
Yeah.
And then like you have, you know, Paris Hilton, you know, in one of the roles, and it's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, she you know, she had a pop song once, you know, where she was heavily modulated and had a team of sound producers making her sound good, but she's not a vocal talent, you
Right.
know.
Also, I didn't like what was it, Alexis Vega, Penavega. I don't think she was a very good singer either.
Yeah, she wasn't. You know, there's just so much.
Oh yeah, like the part that made us laugh so hard was when she was singing her like rock ballad or whatever, and and her dad just comes over and just slaps the shit out of her.
Right.
It was so funny.
It's just like this awful thing
what are you doing?
like
right.
You're like, okay.
it's yeah, like I think half as many songs, or you know, a lyricist, you know, looking over like some of these songs, you know, recutting how the songs are shot. Visually, you know, pretty interesting, I would say. You know, the part where she's like broadcasting holograms out of her eyes. You know, I remember thinking like, "Wow, that's pretty cool." You know, and then, but then the other parts, you know, she like breaking in headstones, you know, and just like laying on top of a dead body pile. You know, like, do we need that? Do we really need that? You know.
I know this is like not even like connected to the movie really, but like her eyes, Blind Mag's eyes, I could not. They were so disgusting to me.
They were so crazy looking, right?
Yeah, they were very.
It's like some sort of like hexagon, and it's like not even like a lot of eye makeup. It's like taking over her face eye makeup. You know, it looks like a disease coming out of her skull.
So true.
You know. They just needed an editor, you know, and of course it's called Repo the Genetic Opera, and it's an opera about opera, you know, because of course it is, you know, and it's just like it's either like so clever that it's genius, or it's just dreadful, and I think it's generally just dreadful, you know. You know, I really you know, I was pleasantly surprised upon this viewing that I really liked some of the songs by the bad guy.
Oh yeah, no, I think I really liked him too.
I thought he you know, he really had like a presence, you know, and I get that like the children not having presence was like sort of their character, right? But it was just so frustrating, you know, anytime they got on stage and the one guy is stabbing people, and then I don't even know what the deal was with the one who had a fake face.
Right. Yeah. You know, he like buys his sister's face at the end or something. Like it's
like I don't know anything about his character other than he ripped off those girls' underwear at that one scene. Like, literally the only thing that I can remember that he did, and I don't know what I'm supposed to imply, like,
or do with that information.
Is he supposed to be a ladies' man? Is he supposed to be a rapist? Is he like, what am I? You know, I don't know. It's just so there's just not enough to go on.
Right. That's a good point.
And you know, the dad, played by Anthony Head. I know him from Buffy because he was Giles is his character from Buffy. But there was one musical episode of Buffy that was really good, and I was like, oh, because I'm pretty sure he was a pretty good singer in that episode as well. So he does have some experience.
Yeah.
With this.
Right.
Yeah.
Very bold.
Yeah.
What did you think of the movie, Henry? You didn't say.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because like I haven't, like I said, I don't watch a lot of musicals, so it was different.
Right.
Yeah, I had fun with it though, like because like I wasn't really expecting much from it anyway, because like I'd looked into it a little bit, and like you know, I was like, okay, this is, and especially once we kind of got into it, like the first, like I mentioned that like
getting into.
Yeah, after the first couple songs, like I kind of got focused more on the story, and I was able to kind of just look at the songs for what they were.
Right.
Yeah, I thought the grave robber guy was really funny.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I really enjoyed his songs. I thought they were
He keeps
very.
on like pointing directly at the camera, which
Yeah,
of course
yeah.
he does.
Oh
you know,
yeah, and
just
like
doing...
that was the thing I think you had mentioned too about blind
Mag.
like she kept looking at the camera.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Which was probably part of why it was
Oh, yeah.
unsettling too, but
Right.
yeah.
It was the first movie that I saw that had like that sort of comic book storyboard style
Oh,
like,
yeah.
throughout, and so I thought that was interesting, as far as like a visual medium. And it seems like they had like a decent CGI budget, but then they blew it all on like panning shots of the city and this giant screen in the sky.
Yeah, that was when they panned over like
Just to do
the
it.
little suburbs. It was like
Yeah.
Right.
like PS1 graphics.
Right. Just some really really bizarre stuff.
Yeah.
I looked at the reviews recently too, and like it's of the reviews are like either like 8 to 10 or like 1 to 2, and like,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
it.
It's very divisive.
Either people like love everything about it, or they're just like, you know what, I don't know why I watched this. I hate it.
What am I
hate
doing?
it.
Yeah.
Right. This is dreadful, and then of course the critics tend to be on the on the negative end,
The harsher side. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
And then-
I imagine
right.
most critics don't really understand like some of that, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space or Thanksgiving, where sometimes they can
Right.
actually be a little bit enjoyable just to watch.
Yeah.
Like they're good in or The Room, like
Right.
they're good bad movies.
Right.
You can love
There's
it for what it
something
is.
charming about not being good at something,
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
really is. And maybe this movie taps into that unintentionally or not, but
Yeah.
there definitely is a charm at like struggling at something and watching somebody struggle. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely felt a little bit like they knew what they were doing. Like they knew what they
Right.
were making.
I would say so. Yeah.
'Cause they got, fairly famous actors. Not famous, but
Right.
yeah. I guess
Yeah,
that's it.
because even with like what you mentioned too about the songs and like how some of them are just kind of bad because it's just like singing like regular lines of like dialogue,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
which I was talking with Miles
Spoken
about that. And, like,
Dialogue by not singers,
Yeah.
and it's just like, this guy doesn't have any singing chops, like you can tell he's trying, he's
yeah,
hamming it
he's
out
just
up
kind
there,
of just
but
yeah,
this guy who plays Luigi or whatever is clearly just, an upset businessman,
Yeah.
trying to sing. He's not, you know.
yeah, absolutely. I was really a fan of the ending though too, because I love how he just kind of like leaves everything, or he wants to leave everything to like this guy's daughter, of
Right.
this woman that he loved, instead of his actual kids, because he thinks they're failures. I kind of
Right.
thought that was funny.
Or he understands they have character flaws.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, you guys are all one-sided. You're an angry
Right.
businessman.
Right.
You just steal faces. Like,
Yeah.
Right. They all seem kind of like dreadful people, and he hopes that this girl at least has a brain for
Right.
business.
Yeah.
And then at the end, like she gets it, like they have like a limousine waiting for her somehow, and she gets into that. I don't know why that is
Like,
necessarily.
yeah, what they were doing with that, I don't know.
But, it is what it is.
It does make me want to try karaoke though. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've never done karaoke.
I haven't
do
either.
that.
No, I did
But it gives me
once, and I
confidence.
failed horribly.
That's what it's all about though.
I picked one of Will Smith's rap songs, so that's probably my
nice.
my mistake.
Yeah.
Nice.
You've done karaoke, right, Matt?
Oh yeah, I remember doing karaoke here in town, and I picked like I don't know, A Sky Full of Stars or something like by Coldplay. And I remember hearing the DJ turn up the auto tune as I was singing. And that's how you know you're doing so bad. Yeah, like people are like not only looking away, but like you could see him like push up the dial, and
Just
you
like,
can hear
"Ah,
it, and you're just
shit."
like, oh god, dude, I'm really tanking up here. Yeah.
Well, like you said, it's more charming sometimes.
Right. Sometimes it's charming. to just
Maybe
be
I don't
bad
know.
at something.
They might have just wanted to go home. I don't know, but
Maybe. You just
Yeah.
wanted to stop hearing my voice, which I I get that a lot.
So like at that point, he almost just starts playing the song or something. Like,
Right. Yeah, there was some like not terrible parts of some songs. I thought
Right.
the Grave Robber song where he's like talking about what is it called, exaggerate or whatever.
yeah,
And the battery, like that part was cool, but then of course it turns into like a Paris Hilton striptease halfway through, and then it's like, oh, this is dreadful now.
yeah.
You've ruined it.
Failed.
You had some
capitalize.
sort of music going, and then you're just
You
like,
just
oh, this
threw it
needs
away.
to be sexy. You know?
Got to keep you guessing, you know.
Right. The gratuitous like single mom boob makeout, or in the middle of like the testify, I think is what the song was.
Yeah.
Where they're just just why, just so many design decisions in this movie are just like, why?
Yeah.
Like,
That's a good point.
but I guess, I imagine like the people behind this just have like no ability to say no to anything, and so every actor comes forward with like, oh, I was thinking it'd be cool if this, and they're just like,
Yeah.
love it, absolutely love it.
You know what? Throw it in there.
I think it'd be cool if I stole those two women's panties. Is that okay with you
Right.
guys? Yeah, sure, whatever. Just do
You know
it.
what? Do it.
We-
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
We'll pan the
whatever.
camera
Yeah,
over to
sounds
you.
great.
It'll be good.
Paris Hilton's like, what if my face falls off in the middle of the song?
I really wish that was like her idea.
And they're just like,
Just
yeah,
like, that's-
great, fantastic.
That's what we need
yeah.
for the character, you know. Yeah.
Right. It's so brutal. They start on such like a crazy premise that you really have to like, spend a few more minutes, I think, establishing the world than just like a few storyboards slapped on there that are just like,
That's the thing.
there is no government. It's a corporate world, and like this corporation controls everything, and also they can kill indiscriminately at will.
Right.
And then they're like, and scene.
Drop the curtain.
Yeah, that was a good question I had. Like, why were they able to just kill people?
Yeah.
Right.
Made no sense.
Yeah. There's like a small storyboard where he's like, Roddy Largo says yes to, organ repossessions, which obviously would never, pass any legislation anywhere.
Right.
But whatever.
Oh, and all that exposition at the beginning too.
Yeah, it did
Right.
feel like they could cut some of that and like, I don't
Like
know, spend
they
more time.
Yeah, they go over like the Roddy's children, and like they explain it later in the movie anyway. So it's like
Exactly. Yeah. So there's
Right.
some points that they could
Right.
definitely.
Well, and
leave
then
off.
after that, there's like I think is it the grave robber guy comes out and like establishes more settings.
Exactly.
you know,
Yeah. He's like
after
explaining.
that. So there's like 2 or 3 different stage setting,
Mhm.
activities going on, and then like a pan of the city, so it's
Yeah.
just like
Right.
one of the 3 I think would have been sufficient, or if you really wanted a deep dive, do one of them longer.
Yeah.
But it's just like so much
I wonder if that was like.
exposition dump after expedition dump.
Yeah,
It's just,
well, there was a lot of exposition. I was wondering if like that was because like they were like they'll get it because of the songs and what they're talking about, and then they were just like they're
Right.
not gonna get it, so they put that on at the beginning
They don't feel
Right.
as like a,
Yeah, I imagine they had like a test audience and who was like, this is too confusing. And they're like, well, if we just explain a little better, they'll get this
slap some words on
super
there.
sci-fi opera
Yeah.
musical.
That would make sense.
It's pretty.
with the comic book art. Like it does kind of feel out of place almost.
Yeah,
Right.
Like they're trying to make it sort of wacky, like Scott Pilgrim or something. And just, it's like
Right.
yeah, it doesn't.
Right. They're trying
really-
to be in like every genre that there is. And it's
yeah,
just like,
cover their bases, but they should just kind of stick to the
just pick a lane, man.
exactly. Yeah,
Just pick a lane. Yeah.
that works better. We just watched.
I thought.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Like the part where that Meg gal falls like a foot and a half onto those prop waist high fence and dies.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was just like, it seems like, I don't know. It just seems like you wouldn't die from that.
Right.
Maybe you would, but like, it seems like she's like maybe 3 to 5 feet in the air, and it like goes fully through her midsection. And it seems like it's a prop. So I just don't know
Yeah.
Yeah.
how that would kill you.
Right. Yeah. But,
What were you saying, Henry? I'm sorry.
oh, yeah, we had watched John Dies at the End when we had Brian on the podcast, and that was a good example of like a movie that like can kind of be wacky and out there, but still has like specific, like it's like got precision to it as well. Brian, I think, was mentioning how like the drug had like specific rules to it, and it was still very like specific and within the movie. So that where everything else was kind of like wacky and sort of they could kind of have fun with it, there were still points where they were able to kind of keep the story cohesive.
Right.
So it's like
on the rails.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can kind of, it's okay to experiment, but like yeah, when you get to the point where like it just kind of doesn't fit, you got to kind of take it out or suffer the
Pick a lane,
consequences of what it does to the movie. So that was all I was going to mention. But yeah, I mean, I'd watch it again.
Obviously, some unclear rules with like her little wrist communicator thing, where she can like get messages from anybody and like call people, but like the Roddy guy can call her and like leave her a voicemail or something and be like, come to the show, and like also send it out to everyone, but like has no idea how to get a hold of her.
Yeah.
And, like he can't, like he seems to have like a sort of unlimited power in this town, but he like can't break down their front door.
Yeah, right, exactly. that was kind of bizarre. I noticed that too.
It's just so ridiculous. Also, the fact that the dad like was like a scientist / like Axeman.
Isn't that weird?
He really like is Batman basically.
Yeah.
He's basically just Batman, where he can just like go out at night and not sleep and just murder people, and hack them apart with, sort of grotesque brutality. And then like come home and be like, oh, my sweet, lovely daughter,
And he seemed to kind of relish in the murder almost, because in some of his, like a couple of his songs, he was like really happy about it and like enjoying it.
Right. Oh yeah, there's definitely was like a Jekyll Hyde sort of character, where there's like almost two entirely different characters, where one of them is like the depressed dad and the other one's like the gleeful Axeman.
That makes me happy.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's just like
he's like making someone sing with their organs. That won't
right.
Yeah.
Because of course,
gotta.
Of course he is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
I would watch it. Had you seen it before, Matt? Or...
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've watched it several times. When it first came out, I like heard about it and then like got a screening or something, but that was like 2008, so it's like
right.
I've watched it probably 5 years ago at the most recent, I would say.
Sure.
So it's not like something I watch often, but like I was like, especially because I saw you guys hadn't done anything, not only a musical, but like anything's, quite that bizarre.
Yeah.
Well, yes, you've done some bizarre stuff for sure.
Yeah.
But like,
Well, I was thinking like, have we not done a musical yet? I don't
think we have.
Yeah, I don't think we
I don't
have.
think so.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do just like The Greatest Showman or
right.
Some music or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little bit not my bag, but just something interesting to talk about.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think we enjoyed it and would probably watch it again.
Yeah, I'll revisit it at some point.
Yeah.
Right. And it was fun to watch with my wife. She hadn't seen it either,
Oh yeah.
So it was, it's a nice little combo event,
Definitely.
for sure.
Yeah.
And I've never like written down my thoughts on, the movie for sure, so that was nice,
Yeah.
little thought experiment.
Very much so. Yeah, it's good. I think it's good to be able to talk with other people about it, because like
Yeah.
I never really did that in like high school. Because like I mean I had like the film class, like those people kind of like movies, but like I didn't really watch a lot of movies till I got to college, and now I'm able to talk to more people about them. Like, what do you think of this or that? And like it's kind of cool because it kind of opens you up to things you don't notice sometimes.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
And it'd be the same for me, where like in high school I would watch a lot of movies, but no one would watch them either. Because I'd watch all the classics, watch weird stuff, and everyone would be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah, because it's like, especially once you get into the obscure stuff. But
no one's seen that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So then, of course, we go into the what have we watched this week? I guess.
Yeah.
Real quick.
What have you been watching, Mouse?
I've been on Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Creep Show on Shudder, which is pretty good actually. It's like cheesy horror, The first episode of the second season, they made a huge like one whole segment was like a reference to Evil Dead. It was really fun.
Yeah.
Because they also had Ted Raimi in the episode as well, so that was cool. I forgot, but I also watched Hellraiser 2, Hellbound, which is really really good movie.
Yes.
Actually, I
And
enjoyed
have you
that
seen
one.
the first one?
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw the first one a couple of weeks ago.
Just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
What about you? Or is that all?
Yeah,
You've been
yeah.
watching? What about you, Matthew? Have you been watching anything else this week? Or just past
Stephanie
couple
and I
weeks?
have started watching this police procedural called The Rookie. It's like a sort of feel-good
Nathan
show.
Fillion.
Nathan Fillion,
Yeah.
where he's like a lovable, middle-age crisis cop, who like was just happened to be at a bank robbery and then like had like a sort of, I don't know, moment where he's just like, oh, I could become a cop, now that I've lost my job and lost my wife, And so then he goes and moves to LA and becomes a cop. And of course, he, has a friend who happens to be like able to give him like $1 million house, it's like overlooking the valley or something. But he's it's nice. They cover it's political without being too earnest. They're able to talk about some BLM stuff and that sort of thing, without being like they have to hit it every single episode, It's not like that. Sometimes it's just like, oh no, this cop lost her girlfriend,
Yeah.
she's gonna have to go and see somebody else, and now she's sad this week, and that sort of thing. So it's got some lighter elements too, which is nice. And of course, it doesn't get into any like really hard morally gray area or anything like that. It's always like if there is a bad guy, they catch him kind of a thing. It's not like this,
There's something
but it's nice.
like Psych or
Mhm.
some of those procedural shows are actually kind of fun to watch because it's just you can kind of turn your brain off and try and solve the case with them, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially
Kinda go
if
along
the
for the ride.
writing's well is
Right.
good as well. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the music direction of the show. There's some really cool songs that I picked up from the soundtrack that I really like.
Yeah.
It's just fun. It's not like groundbreaking or really treading any new territory, but it's just fun.
That's good.
I like it. What about you, Hen?
I've been getting into Twin Peaks season 2. That's I finally been getting into that.
Nice.
I originally wasn't gonna watch it, but Brian had actually kind of recommended I check it out at the very least and give it a try because I just heard that like especially like the midpoint within season 2 isn't as good, but that some of the other it still got some good stuff in it. So I've been trucking along with that a little bit. Continuing with It's Always Sunny, which is always funny. I think because like I don't know, it's I've been I feel like it's pretty consistent throughout. Like I feel like it's still got some good like it's kind of the same premise each episode or like the same sort of like beats, but like it's still funny, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is like
Nice.
I guess the point of the show. So I enjoy that.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Nice.
Good stuff.
Oh, we did start watching Formula One on Netflix. It's like the race to freedom or something like that. It's like just about like sports seasons.
Oh, okay.
It's like about the Formula One season, which I don't follow and have not followed, but like I was watching it at a friend's house, and they just put it on, because they were watching it. And it was cool, it's interesting to learn about all the different racers and like the differences in the cars and, all these just like, it's not like in my wheelhouse, so it's just like to hear about, Max Verstappen, and his, chase for the cup and all this kind of stuff. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I got something for
good.
Yeah,
Good. I
for
was
next
worried
week.
there.
Yeah. So next week you and I, Miles, will be watching.
Or if you want to as well.
And if
along
you
with
want to
us
watch along with us, Matt.
as an audience member.
Okay. Yeah.
And then put your thoughts down in the comments. We got The Hotspot with
The Hotspot.
Jennifer Connelly. It's on, I think Pluto TV's got it, and then Tubi. Came out in 1990. It's like a thriller type thing, which I'm looking forward to. You haven't seen it, right?
No.
Okay, yeah. It's Dennis Hopper was the director on that. But, yeah.
Interesting.
Virginia Madsen, Don Johnson, William Sadler, yada yada.
What
No,
is he
but
showing her in that photo?
What do you think?
His new comic book he got at the store.
Absolutely, yeah, very much so. I should put that picture in the episode. Yeah. So yeah, I look forward to that next week, and we'll be sharing our thoughts with you. So yeah.
All right. For for people who want to check out your Twitch streams or anything like that, what do you if you want to plug?
Yeah.
Plug
Feel free to.
anything.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Twitch.tv/Rodrick Endac. Usually live on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturday or Sunday. Been playing Warhammer, been playing League of Legends, Stardew Valley, a little bit of everything. Party games, this and that. Henry mentioned maybe you guys doing some games at some point. Obviously no rush, but potentially they'll be on as well. So
Yeah.
crossover audience,
Yeah, of
crossover
course.
episode.
Exactly.
We could talk about that definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be good.
Could be big. Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. I had an absolute blast. Love the show. Love hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to episode 87 of the Macbeef-Banquet podcast. Bye.
Bye.
I don't know.
All right.
All right.